going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and today I'm going to be exploring one of my favorite neighborhoods in the lower part of Manhattan, which is the East Village. And it's a neighborhood full with hipster vibes, a lot of restaurants, a lot of nightlife going on, cool architecture. They got a lot of attractions going on over there. Made a video over there like 2 years ago, but I'm going to go and do an update video to see what's going on. So without further ado, join me. So the neighborhood borders between 14th Street and Houston Street, also where 4th Avenue goes all the way to the FDR highway. So they got a couple of parks there, and most of the streets are tree-lined streets. They also have a section that's called Alphabet City due to the avenues, named with the letters. But it's gonna be really cool, and you guys are gonna see what's going on. So a block ahead of me should be like the borderline of 4th Avenue, and there's a place that's called Astor Place, which is like a plaza, and then they have like a famous cube over there. A lot of people, they rotate it, but you require like at least 2 people to do it. But it's gonna be like a really nice intersection, and that's the beginning of East Village, where we're gonna start digging in deeper into the neighborhood. So I have just entered the East Village, and over here is pretty cool what you guys are seeing. There's like a plaza ahead of me. So pretty busy, they got this building over here. That's the Astor Place right there, and then over here is like the 6th train subway line. And then pretty busy. This will take you straight to St. Mark's, which is one of the busiest streets in the East Village section. But I want to show you like the little cube over here. And today the weather's just pleasant, but then look, everywhere you can see a 360 is pretty beautiful to look at. And then they got the Wegmans. I think it's the only one in Manhattan. This over here is a cube, but I don't think I can push it myself, so you'll need at least 2 or 3 people to do it, because it's pretty heavy. Now, before I hit where the main action is going on, I want to do a little detour over here to show you some of the architecture here. I think there's like a architecture school or something like that, but the buildings is like pretty cool. It's like a mixture of modern with the old buildings combined together. You got this wide street and like a little plaza over here. And then if you're going 4th Avenue during the summertime, so throughout the year, they do sometimes like food festivals, like Japanese festival. And look at this modern architecture over here. But I think I'm gonna cross the street and show you the building that's right behind these trees, which is pretty nice. So where I started was Astor Place in this area over here. It's called Cooper Square, which is pretty nice. Even got like a little plaza over there. And then ahead of me, we got like some condos and nice architecture. So look at this building. It's pretty rare and different, but I like the design, super modern. And then if you look at the regular streets, it's pretty much what East Village looks like. 5 floors, maybe 6 floors apartment complex, and they got a modern building right here. Then we got this building over here with the avenue. It's pretty nice. Like I said, the weather's really pleasant today. To my left is a little plaza going on, which all over New York City, they got little tiny plaza that will take you forever to explore. I'll show you here from a distance, but I try to give privacy to the people sitting around. But now let's make it into one of the main streets of the East Village, which is St. Mark's. They also call it Little Tokyo because they got tons of Japanese restaurants, stores, and like little, toy stores, Japanese stuff. But we're gonna explore a little bit about that street, and then we're gonna show other parts of the neighborhood. This over here is St. Mark's, and you see how they developed this building pretty quick. But then on the weekend or in the evening, night, it gets pretty popping in the street with the restaurants, a lot of young people hanging out here, They got a couple of bars and stuff. So yeah, the vibes over here is super cool. Keeps going, they got a couple of stores selling stuff, a lot of small shops. And then to my left, there's a couple of restaurants, mainly Japanese, but they also got Chinese restaurants. A little bit of everything. Piercing stores right here. Today is really quiet. I mean, it's Friday, maybe later. There's a restaurant in the left that's always jam-packed with people in line waiting to get in. But yeah, you can see the vibes over here in St. Mark's. It keeps going all the way towards Tompkins Square Park, which I'm gonna show you guys in a bit, but I'm still showing you a little bit more of the neighborhood. Then we got like a birria taco spot, pizzeria. One thing about East Village is that they got tons of coffee shops around here. Some of my favorite coffee shops is here by 7th Street, which is 787 Coffee. The original one that they opened was right here, and then they expanded all over New York City. And this is a boba tea. It's not busy now, but a lot of times I see people trying to get in, so it must be like original and really good. And this over here is 2nd Avenue. You can see the beautiful streets. with the bars, restaurants, and people just walking around. Perfect day to go biking. If you keep going down the street straight, you can see how nice it is. But now I want to show you another street that's called Stuyvesant Street. And it's because there's like a little intersection. I'm not sure if there's going to be a building with the leaves covered. It might be because we're in the heart of the summertime, but just going to make a little detour over there and show you that little plaza. Then we start making it back into one of the regular streets of East Village. You can see how nice the main avenues are. With the architecture and everything, pretty vibrant. And we got like a bar here, people eating, drinking. I don't know if it's a new bar because I walked the street so many times, you know. But then this block over here should be the street that I want to show you guys. And then they got a couple of restaurant joints right here, ice cream shop. This one, not sure what it is. I think it's like a bar. I like the fact how they have the outdoor dining for people to just enjoy the weather and have their meals and their food. And they got this one here, Yummy Hive. This would be a 787 coffee shop here to my left. This is an iconic street that I want to show you. Not sure if you can see it because the sun is literally hitting, but this building right here, most of the times when you Google about this historic street, Stuyvesant Street, this is the building right ahead of me that pops up. Let me see if I can go here so it blocks the sun. You can see what the street looks like around here. Beautiful brownstone buildings. This area resembles a little bit more of the West Village. The West Village is really covered with the brownstones. You don't get that much here in the East Village. But still, the vibes here are pretty nice. And like I say, that's an historic building right there behind me, you know, with the leaves covering up the building. The only thing is that the sun is kind of blocking the nice view of it. But I think it's even nicer in the fall season. But now let's start making it deeper in the neighborhood to see what can we find. You know, like I say, I love this neighborhood a lot, especially in the summertime, because that's when the vibes come out. That's when you see the New York City vibes and the vibrant community and the people just hanging out there, which is really cool. Now I'm making a detour in one of these regular streets over here. This is 9th Street, but I want to show you some pretty much the average East Village street. There's a lot of streets where apartment complexes, and the first floor is mostly like restaurants and joints. So here you can see in the sample, they got the outdoor dining, the stairs, you know, people get to sit there, have their coffee and stuff. Then it's mostly tree-lined streets, which helps a lot with the vegetation. And then these are the apartments that you get. You know, they're old buildings, but I mean, they're still pretty interesting to look at. So it gives you like a nice vibe. I think I'm gonna do a detour in another street here just to show you what's going on. But a lot of these streets, they look pretty much similar. Then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna show you Tompkins Square Park, which is a local park right here. And one of my favorite parks too after Washington Square Park. And then we're gonna start making it towards the Alphabet City area so I can show you how the vibes change over there. This is First Avenue, which pretty much like 2nd Avenue. It also has a lot of business on the first floors. Like you'll see pizzerias, joints, and then the people just walking around. Then the avenues are pretty wide and they have a bike lane, so it's pretty easy for you to bike and get around, you know. So really cool vibes. So I was gonna make it to 7th Street, but I'm still gonna make it to this side of St. Mark. And one thing to do is they close the street. I'm not sure they're trying to renovate, but it seems like they're trying to make it more like pedestrian. And there are some outdoor dinings are covering the streets. And I feel like cities should be designated more for the people and not for cars. So this could be like a really good spot. So I'm gonna show you guys once I cross the street. So this is St. Mark's here, open pedestrian, you know. Then once I go more ahead, it gets nicer. Then they got the Tompkins Square Park. But I want to show you a little bit of a street art. And this is really cool how they try to beautify the neighborhood right here with the Empire State Building. And there's like a bookstore, you know. So one thing about this neighborhood is that you find pretty interesting stuff. It might be weird in other places, but here, you know, this is New York City, so it's pretty much normal. Like over here, we got like a street art I want to show you. This is a really cool street art right here. Punk and St. Mark's. So, I mean, there's everything, but you might see a lot of heavy metal people in this neighborhood. But it's a little bit of everything, mostly like hipster vibes. And then here you can see they put the outdoor sitting area in the streets, which I think is actually really cool. But it's really quiet now. Maybe in an hour or two it's gonna start picking up. And like I say, today is not brutally hot nor humid, so today is a good day to sit down, have a drink or a meal out in the streets. And then, like I said, I like when it's covered with the trees. You know, it helps a lot with the neighborhood. And more people just sitting here socializing. So this is one of the spots in New York City where you can have like a vibrant evening or nightlife. Ahead of me is Tompkins Square Park, which I know the other part, Washington Square Park, gets a lot of credit, but I think this one over here is underrated and it's worth to explore. So this is Tompkins Square Park over here. And I like it a lot in May because they do like block parties over here. And I'll show you like a 360 view, Avenue A. So this is like the beginning of Alphabet City, which is a little section in the East Village. So that's actually one crazy thing about New York City. Not only the neighborhoods, but some of the sections are pretty big that they even have like the little mini section within a section. So it's just like tons of neighborhoods, districts, and sections making a huge, massive city and metropolis. So pretty unique. Then one thing I like is all the vegetation or trees over here. It's a shame that when the winter comes, the leaves are gone, but still, you could come here and cool off in the park on a brutal hot summer day, and it keeps going around. Even in this park, you see the cobblestones right here, and they got the sidewalks that literally goes around. And then you see how people, this is all over New York City, people can just lay down in the grass with the trees and just chill, have their picnic, or socialize around, you gather your friends and people, so yeah. I really love this park a lot. You know, here's the main plaza around this park over here. But right now, pretty quiet, like I say. I'm a little surprised to see that because the weather is just perfect. But let's make it outside the park and start exploring more of the Alphabet City section. Back in the days, it used to be pretty rough, Alphabet City, but they developed the area a little bit more. Just like they're doing with all over New York City, and the gentrification came in. It also borders with Lower East Side, so. But let's start making it to a street that's called Lower East Side Avenue. So now this is the Alphabet City section of the East Village. So I'm gonna walk probably a couple avenues down to see what's going on. Actually one of my favorite, probably one of the best Puerto Rican restaurants out in New York City is actually here in the East Village and Lower East Side, which is called Casa Adela, right in Lower East Side Avenue. But so far what you see is a lot of vegetation. And this is Avenue C, also called locally Lower East Side Avenue. And why named like that? Because back in the days, it used to be a huge Puerto Rican community, and they try to name it like this, you know, Lower East Side, but when we talk like Mr. or Spanish and English, they say Lower East Side, so that's why it came out with this name over here. And I mean, it's changed a lot. Like I say, gentrification has come, but it's still try the best to keep this community, you know, intact. Like I say, some of the best Puerto Rican restaurants is actually in this avenue over here, a block ahead of me. And then there's a couple of murals ahead, so let me see if I can show you guys. So they even made a mural over here. Adela, and then the restaurant is right here. Not sure if it's still, it should be open, but the food here is really good. It should be open, but the food is good. This is the Puerto Rican restaurant. Some of the best Puerto Rican restaurants in New York. And the lady that you saw in the mural is actually Adela, rest in peace. She passed away, and I was reading a little bit of her history. She used to live, I think, on the second floor. Would wake up every day, do her prayers, and cook food. So the family's trying to keep the legacy running, and it's something that's really cool. This over here is something that represents Puerto Rico. Spanish, Taino, and the African, you know. So over here, they still keep their tradition running. And then as I was walking, I noticed something in the other street. I gotta be careful because this camera is not water resistant, but I wanna show you something that's really authentic in the New York City in the summers. What I wanna show you that's really New York is when it's so hot, but today's not that hot, and they open the water pumps in regular neighborhoods. So I guess if you need your car washed for free, there's a good solution. So I'm gonna show you guys in a bit. So here, this car's literally parked there. I'm not sure they're trying to wash the car, but look at this. The water pump literally hitting that truck, taking over the whole street. So I guess little kids can play in that water. But this happens mostly when you get outside of the touristy areas. But it happens mostly like in neighborhoods like Uptown, like Bronx, Harlem, even in Brooklyn, but this is the Lower East Side and East Village section, so they got literally like a water over there taking up the whole street. Over here, I'm in Avenue D, and in this area on my left, is mostly how we call in New York the PJs, or the housing projects. It goes all the way here, all the way to the Lower East Side. So now I'm gonna make it close to the Housing Street area where the ending of East Village is, and probably merge back into another of the regular streets, show you the vibes of what's going on. There's a pretty interesting church right here, surrounded by these buildings. And then one thing about New York City, you see like these private gardens that they keep over here, especially in this area, which I think is really cool. Orchard Alley Garden. So it must be having a lot of beautiful plants and nature in here. Another garden right here. And then across the street, there's another one too. So I think what happens is people around the communities, depending the different district of New York City, they do, gardens like this, and it helps preserve the area, so really cool what they do. So now I'm in Houston Street, and then to my left is the Lower East Side, then where I'm standing is the East Village, but this is probably the end of it. I'm gonna walk back towards Lower East Side Avenue and show you the other side, and probably merge into another of the regular streets of the East Village, and then we wrap up the video. Then you can see this section is quiet, but it gets a little busier if you keep going a little bit more ahead, and then they got an easy bike lane. Then a lot of vegetation of trees right here. So made it back to Lower East Side Avenue, and there is probably a little bit more action happening over this side, but still much more chiller than other districts. So my apologies, it was actually Avenue B that I was walking. But still, it's pretty much similar to the other streets, and then I'm back to one of the regular streets over here, and you can see the trees and like the 5-story, 6-story tall apartment buildings. So before I hit the street, I want to show you a beautiful mural over here dedicated towards Lower East Side Avenue, which I think is pretty nice. I like this mural over here. It seems like it was done in the pandemic, because you see the people wearing their mask. One of the beautiful things of New York City, the tons of street art that you guys are gonna find all over, no matter what borough you go, so it's really cool. This is part of Avenue C, and then they got a Key Food supermarket right here, and a Thai restaurant literally right next to it. So like I said, I'm probably gonna merge into 7th Street. You can see how busy it is with all the traffic jam. One of the reasons why I hate driving in New York City. But the vibes are pretty good no matter what district you go. So I'm in 7th Street, which is a cool street, and this is actually their first original 787 coffee that they opened up. And it's been really popular that they expanded all over the city. The funny thing about this is that I try to record this areas over here, but it got music playing, so I don't want to get copyright. But you have an idea what the street looks like. This is 7th Street, which is really cool in the heart of the East Village. Here you see some of the outdoor sitting area. It's pretty nice and fancy, you can bring your family or a date or anything. Some of the restaurants going on, and it just keeps going. This is a beautiful church right here. Pretty nice, and I'll give you a little bit of the views of the street. So you can see it dope. Here there's a little tiny spot called 7th Street Burger. So I guess this is the original one. They expanded all over, but they're pretty much known for their smash burgers. Smash burgers is pretty popular right here in New York City. Now literally the sun is hitting my face, but I don't mind, Doesn't hurt to get a little bit of some vitamins in your system. So I'll try to cross First Avenue right here. You can see how wide the street is. And I'll probably make it back to where I started and wrap up the video. You can see the street keeps going, which is also pretty nice, and the trees and all of that. Also, another thing I forgot to mention, you guys, is, just like they have different districts. Here in the East Village, they also have a district called Ukrainian Village, which is actually part of this street when I'm walking. And you wouldn't be surprised to see Ukrainian flags hanging all over here. So, but yeah, it just proves you, how the neighborhood changes throughout the blocks that you walk. So I'm literally back again by Cooper Square, where they got the modern architecture and the beautiful plaza with some of the older architectures. And it's been pretty awesome here to support this beautiful neighborhood, East Village. But I think I already showed you guys pretty much enough. I can show you more streets, but they pretty much look the same. So I think it's time for me to start wrapping up the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.